Welcome to the Thought Leader Lounge. Happy Monday. Woo! Welcome, everybody. So good to see you. This meeting is being live streamed. It's being broadcast to all the social platforms. So really excited to be with you all today. Those of you here in the Zoom room and those of you who are joining us on the platforms, let's take a moment to close our eyes and get centered, get ourselves ready to have an extraordinary experience, to take our energy, our vibration, our intention, our consciousness to a higher level so that we can be the powerful leaders, contributors, influencers, best-selling authors, speakers, and global leaders that we're here to be. That's what we're up to in the lounge every single week. And those of you who are watching us on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, wherever you might be watching us from, we're so happy that you're here. If you ever want to get in to the Zoom room and be live on the lounge, just email care@sarahcannell.com and we'll give you the secret link and hit the subscribe button so you can get all the episodes that you might have missed. So happy to be here today for our next installment of the Thought Leader Lounge. And we have a really exciting episode today because you're going to meet the brilliant, the amazing, the powerful, the extraordinary Jill Schultz out with her upcoming best-selling book. And she's going to be sharing a little bit about that journey with us so that you can see what it takes. What did it take for Jill to say yes to this vision that was placed in her soul, on her heart, and be the leader that she's here to be and change so many lives? So we're going to hear from Jill as our featured best-selling author of the week. And then we are going to we're going to do a training where I'm just going to get really real about this is going to be a great conversation because I know a little bit about having gotten to work with Jill on her book, a little bit about what it takes to bring a book into the world. And I'm going to be sharing a little behind the scenes from the 10X jump that I'm in right now, because it's really fun to say, I'm going to 10X my revenue, I'm going to 10X my visibility, I'm going to 10X my impact. 10X meaning, 10 times more than we've been doing. And then also it's like, buckle up, because when we say yes to that next level identity, that contribution, that visibility, a lot of stuff can come up and it can be really temporarily unsettling. It can be confrontational, it can be uncomfortable. And I want to just share a little bit with you guys. So I was telling Jill before I walked through doing my laundry and I got fuzz on me. So if you see me wiping myself, that's what that is. I'm going to talk about what that identity journey might look like, how we can navigate it with confidence, with serenity, with equanimity, with faith. Because it can be very, very seductive to want to run back to what's comfortable and what's known when we're up leveling, right? So that's what we're going to talk about in the lounge, because whether you're working on a new book, whether you're working on a new talk, whether you're pitching TEDx, whether you're just thinking about how you're going to get your message out on social media, all of that, if you're playing a big game, is going to bring up stuff. Okay. So that's what we're going to be up to. I can't think of anyone better to talk to today and meet with today than Jill Schultz on this exact topic. And Jill, I'm so excited. Let's bring you up to the stage and let everybody meet you and hear about the new book. Oh.
Hi.
Hello, welcome. I know it's early on the West Coast, so thanks
Oh,
for
no,
being.
it's good. It's 9. I'm good.
You're good. I know you're like, it's early enough. We're more, a lot of us like thought leaders are morning people. So all of you, if you haven't met Jill, she's amazing. She's written a book that is a challenging book, an important book, an extremely, extremely needed book at this time. We're going to talk about why. But Jill, can you let everybody know just a teeny bit about your background? Like, this was not what you set out probably 20 years ago to write a book about, or even write a book at all. So
2 years.
tell us,
Yeah, no. Yeah.
tell us just a little bit about what your professional journey has looked like, and then we're going to get into the new book.
Yeah. So I'm a serial entrepreneur. Before the book, I had 3 businesses. I have an event business. I'm in the wine industry, and then I do vacation rentals. So all of this really kind of came about because I joined Shanda Sumter's community. I've been trying to figure out my purpose for so many years, and just praying and praying and praying. And I came upon Shanda, and not even around my purpose, but just trying to figure out what my next steps were and all that stuff. And through being in her community, I was introduced to HCL and completed that program, the Heart Core Leadership Program, and stepped into PhD. And that's like, I don't, if you don't believe in God or whatever you believe in, I don't, I believe in God, and everything has been so beautifully orchestrated through God that, and be careful what you pray for. Cause like I said, I was praying for my purpose, and never, ever, ever, ever would I have chosen this to be what I get to do in my life. But now that I've come to terms with, okay, this is what I get to do, I see it as a gift now. Like, I really get to lean in how everything that's happened in my life has happened for me, even though it's been hard. And now I really get to, speak out and share my story. And it's a topic that people are not talking about. So I keep going, why did you pick me, God? Like, I'm like, I don't even understand. Yeah, I know,
Well,
right?
Wait. Right. Well, I love this, Jill, because like you said, you're a badass, you're an entrepreneur, you've already, you created success, you've learned, and you were in a business coaching program, not thinking it was going to lead you to a leadership and personal discovery. Obviously, we met there and have both done that leadership work. And then you had this calling, right? About, okay, I prayed for my purpose, and now I got it. Oh my gosh. And
Amy.
so let's talk about the book and what it's about and who it's for, and the healing work, the transformation that it's here to create. So let's get into that, because it's a real, well, obviously close to my home. I'm a contributor to this book for a reason.
Yes.
So
I'm so grateful that you did do a chapter for me too, Sarah. But so I was molested when I was 3 or 4 years old. I still don't remember who it was or what happened or any of the things. I just know that as a little girl, I knew way too much about sex. Children should not know how to have sex. I knew how to have sex. And so I always have to just set the stage. If this is the first time you're hearing anything like this and you're triggered by this, please find somebody to talk to. There's lots of platforms, Rain, like there's lots of different places you can go and have this conversation. But it's very triggering for some people, because sexual trauma is it's like a wave to me. Like, you'll remember and you forget, and you remember and you forget. And so if me sharing the story right now triggers you in any way, please find somebody to talk to. So around the age of 7, I started acting out because of my sexual trauma. And the way that I was acting out was because of what somebody taught me to do. And I was experimenting with other kids sexually. And I just lived with this debilitating shame for 41 years, because I thought I was the only little girl who ever did anything like that. So in between the ages of 7 and 12, I was acting out. And so, obviously this is not what one person would choose to be admitting to, in a book, let alone, my goal is to get on stages. But, I really see it now as an opportunity for me to really help people who have lived with this kind of shame, so I'm so grateful and so excited. And the book comes out on Wednesday, and it's like,
I know, it's
this
week, everybody. It's this week. We'll be sharing the link, and we'll blast this out everywhere as well. Which is, yes, and you're going to be Cedra, you're going to be on stages, Jill's going to be on stages. And Jill, what's so powerful about this is, you, like you said, you were in the wine industry, you've been in hospitality, you've been in other entrepreneurial things, and yet you're living with this this horrible secret. And I know for me, my first assault happened when I was 6, and then 8, and it really messed me up for a really long time. And what the worst part was, that I felt like I was the only one, and that it was just this horrible secret. And we hear the line, we're as sick as our secrets. And as a culture, we can be as sick as if we're not allowed to heal, things that little kids are confronted. I just went to see Chelsea Handler perform, those of you that know the comedian Chelsea Handler. So I went to Chelsea Handler in Chicago on Friday, and her entire new show, Jill, the whole bulk of the section is actually about kid with kid acting. I mean, it was so interesting. And now she's doing it in a way that she's sort of laughing about it and saying, this is some crazy stuff I did when I was a kid. But underneath the undercurrent, right, is and there's so many times when kids are, whether it's just sort of healthy exploring or there's been trauma and abuse. And I know that the neighborhood kids that participated in, my assault, perpetrated, if you will, they were coming to that out of nowhere, right? It was like, what's going on in their homes? And so the point is, when we shine a light on anything, healing happens, and you've been willing to say, I will be the lighthouse. I'll be the lighthouse, and that people can come and heal from whatever that looks like. And however, however people need to just not know that they're not alone, know that they aren't bad, know that they can let it go. And, you and I for decades, as just two women, carried the horrible experiences of this and the guilt and shame about it for so long. So the world is so grateful for you. I'm thanking you on behalf of all the readers that are coming. What do you hope happens? Let's say, the book starts to spread and ripple out, which it's going to do on its launch day on Wednesday. You're going to go out and speak on this. Like, take us 5 years in the future when people have had your medicine. What do you see happening?
Yeah. So the goal has always been, well, when I stepped into this, I was listening to Amanda Francis, and I love her. She wrote a book called Rich as Fuck. I do swear on here. Sorry. Do you
Yeah,
swear?
I mean, I guess we're streaming, so we'll say Rich AF. Yeah.
Rich AF. Okay, I'll tone it down. And in that episode, she wrote one of the episodes was, everything on our heart was given to us by God, and it's our only job every single day to feel that happening, to, visualize it happening, all the things. And so when I first stepped into this, I had this thought. I'm like, oh my God, Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, Lewis Howes. And I'm like, oh, you're silly. I go, wait a minute. Everything on my heart was given to me by God, and it's my only job every single day to make that happen. So being on stage with Tony Robbins, or maybe not even being on stage with Tony Robbins, I've been thinking a lot about this because I know he's getting ready to retire, and I don't want to pigeonhole my dream into his retirement, but somehow, some way, he gets behind my movement. Like, that's who I get to align with because of his power and his influence. And like, this gets to be a massive movement where we get to normalize having this conversation, because children acting out with other children is way more common than you can even imagine. And nobody's talking about it.
Yeah. And when something remains, again, taboo and remains a secret, it's toxic, it can be corrosive, and it messes people. Whereas we could just all we could be okay, we could heal this, right? And so I love that you're bringing the light. And Ray in the chat just said, we must teach kids self-esteem in schools. And this is part of your self-esteem. Like, you're not bad, you're not wrong. Like, here's how to be healthy around things. Here's how to ask questions. Here's how to set boundaries around your body, around other people's, none of us got taught that. We were just sort of like thrown to the wolves, Jill, I think some of us, So, so this is so powerful. And whether, it's Tony and who's ever staged, like, you're fearlessly, I'm getting like Joan of Arc energy, like going there and, going. So, I love this. So people can heal it. People can let it go. People can move on. And, we're not going to, of course, ask anyone in the chat and on social to post if, you don't want to, share experience. I know some of you are just really celebrating and thanking Jill for taking a stand. But just, letting yourself be supported and not be alone, and reading Jill's book, like, that alone can be what Brene Brown says, the most healing words in any language: you are not alone. You're not alone. And I would guess the percentage is very, very, very high of adults who carry some kind of shame about something sexual in their childhood. I mean, I would imagine it's like, honestly, I'm going to say, I imagine it's the majority of the population had some experience, whether it was a full-on abuse or just confusing or whatever, that just wasn't in context, or maybe wasn't set up with healthy boundaries, where there's some shame there that gets to be healed.
Well, even if it's not around sexual trauma too, everybody has a secret, right? Everybody has a secret holding them back. And I found this list of how to uncover your shame. And one of my most favorite questions on that list is, what is one thing only you and God know? Right?
Yeah.
And then you get to look at that, and then you get to talk about it, because it's stifling you. And if you don't mind, I want to share one quick thing, because I think this is so important as people are stepping into healing from their trauma. I remember the first time that I went to therapy was when I was 33 years old. I wasn't connecting with men. And so I'm like, all right, we get to start taking a deeper look at this. And I remember walking into therapy and I just had the biggest pit in my stomach. I'm like, how am I supposed to tell this person that I acted out sexually with other children? He's going to think I'm a monster. He's going to think I'm a pedophile. Because at 12 years old, those were the things that I thought about myself. I thought I was a monster. I thought I was a pedophile. And walking in there and sharing my story with him, it could bring me to tears right now. But the level of love and compassion and kindness and understanding on the other side of me sharing my story, unbelievable. So whatever story you've made up about you sharing your secret and somebody judging you, I promise you, it is made up. Like, it is not real. And you get to talk about it. You get to get this out of your body. And even if it's just writing it down or saying it in the mirror or screaming in a pillow or whatever, say it out loud at least one time so that you can start that conversation. Because shame cannot live in the light.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly right, Jill. It's so powerful. I know people in the chat are responding. They've had an experience or their children have had experiences, and we can't heal it if we don't address it, right? Nothing can be changed that we don't acknowledge, accept, and then, take new action around. So I'm so grateful to you, Jill. What are you looking most forward to with the book launch? Like, some of you are here watching, like, in the middle of writing your books, or you're just getting ready to start writing your book. And so what are you excited about coming up?
I am excited that it's done.
Yeah.
I'm just excited. It's kind of, everything's so unknown for me. And my year for the word has been surrender. Every time I've come up against an obstacle, you asked me earlier about writing a book. I did not want to write a book. I never thought I'd write a book, And so when the reason the book came about was because I was talking to my friend PJ, who's an international speaker. And I was like, I just want to get on stages and speak my truth. And he's like, well, if you want to get on stages, you got to write a book. And I'm like, I don't want to write a book. Right. But the book unfolded because I surrendered into it, and God just paved this beautiful path for this book to come about. So I'm just excited. I feel like the last even 6 months, I've kind of felt a little stagnant in it because it's been this process of it getting to publishing. And, I've been doing a lot of podcasts, but I really want to feel the impact that this is making on other people. Like, I really want to feel the difference that me stepping into this uncomfortable space, because life happens outside your comfort zone, people. It
sure does. It surely does, Jill. Yes.
So I'm just excited about normalizing this conversation. I'm so grateful for the Me Too movement, because I feel like it's easier for people to talk about sexual trauma now than it was before. And now I just want to layer it with this conversation, because so many people are just sitting in shame thinking, I'm the only one who's ever done that. And it's just not true. When I started sharing my story, I was blown away by oh my God, that's my story. And that's how the book came about. People were like, that's my story. So my book's a compilation of different people sharing different stories, which is why I feel so blessed that you are in my book too, Sarah. Thank you.
Jill, this was the number one thing that held me back for so long. The unhealed pain, and whatever ours is, sometimes it's you lost a parent when you're a child, you had an abandonment, a parent left, or something else. For me, it was this one. For you, it was this and combination of, other dysfunctions in our family systems. And so what I want to share with everybody here is that, and I'm writing about this now, and I spoke about this, Jill, and contributing with your book, these kinds of childhood traumas and the story we make up around, and the binding of the shame when we keep it inside, will absolutely, it can take off 20 years of your life. That's literally what statistics, ACEs, adverse childhood experiences like this can actually shorten your lifespan. It will you will earn 10 times less than you could earn financially. You will have difficulty getting in relationships, and you're 98% likely to develop an addiction. Okay. This is the stuff that is in motion.
Check.
Right. Right. And I went, yeah. Right. Yep. And play it out. And so it's so important. This isn't even just about, one particular type of abuse, right? Like you said, it's about some things that happen that we had a shame bond around, that we keep hidden, we think we can't deal with, and we don't know where we could get safe, support. And then it will impact our wealth, it'll impact our impact on the world, it'll impact who we serve, it'll impact who we're in relations with, it'll impact our literally how long we live. That's the stakes of this book. So yeah, everyone's asking what's the name of the book, Jill? How can we get it? So so Jill, let everyone know the name, and then let's put the link to get it, that because it comes out Wednesday, you guys, so it'll ship. Show us.
Yeah. Well, this is the sample one, so it has the line across
Yes,
it.
yes,
Liberated,
yes.
releasing the dark cloud of shame.
Oh,
and
it's gorgeous.
We're doing a launch, launch with Muse on Thursday. I don't know if we can put the link in
let's
there.
put the link.
Yeah,
Let's grab the link
noon
to that.
Pacific Standard Time on Thursday. And I'd love to see you guys there.
Yeah, so come join Jill on her live lunch. You can also, those of you that are getting ready to do books, it's really cool to go see, different ways, live in person in different ways. So yeah, and it'll be available. Jade, Muse is available everywhere, right?
Yeah,
So people can buy it. You can get it on Amazon Canada. Muse's international distribution, which is the publisher that Jill is publishing with, that I published with. And so yeah, I'm really, really excited. That is a gorgeous cover. I hadn't seen the final cover yet, so show it again. So beautiful, liberated, and won't have
my
bar.
assistant actually designed the cover.
It's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
So yeah, absolutely phenomenal, Jill. We wish you the best. We don't even have to wish. We just know, like you said, your job, you're modeling for us. When you get clarity on the vision, our only job is to show up every day and do everything in our power to make it happen. And that's what you're doing. And you're adding, you want to go speak, the formula, you all know this, that train with me, get that best-selling book, because 80% more times you'll be picked to speak. You'll be paid 80% more when you speak, when you've got the best-selling book, which it's your week.
Can I share? You asked me what I'm looking forward to. Yeah. I'm looking forward to this book. Just like, I don't even have to look for the speaking engagements. Like, they're coming to me. It's just all going to happen so organically. And I just get to surrender and receive.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Well, we are envisioning you on stages around the world, and you've shown up. You said yes, and you got the book done. So congratulations.
Well, Sarah, I could not have done this without you. Like I said, I just surrendered into it, and God just kept sending me little presents, and you were such a present to me. And of course, Audrey, who was my ghostwriter, I knew that I needed to hire a ghostwriter because I knew I wouldn't write it. I know myself. So if you know yourself and you know that you're not going to sit and do it, money loves speed, get it done. Like, I'm just like, I will pay for whatever I have to do to get this book out into the world. And so you were such a present to me. So thank you so much, Sarah. I really, really appreciate everything that we've been able to create in the last year. And I just adore you.
Well, it is so mutual, and I'm just brimming with joy that the world now gets to have this transformation with you at the helm of this movement. So thank you, Jill. Let's give Jill some love, everyone.
Thanks for all the sweet comments too. I'm going to save the chat. I'm going to read all of them.
Yes, exactly, Jill. Oh, it's so amazing. Yeah. So, so some of you that are in Thought Leader Academy, many of you write your book. You work with one of our editors, and then you can also have one of our editors or another member of our adjunct team ghostwrite for you, which means if you just feel like actually you want to be more just kind of speak the book and interviewed about your content, and have someone else write the book for you, and then you obviously make sure it's in your voice and everything, that's called ghostwriting, right? So there's editing and there's ghostwriting, and obviously those of you that work with us, we offer everything, all the ways that you want to get your book done. So the important thing is to get your message into the world. So like Jill said, know thyself and to thyself be true, right? So really, really brilliant. I'm so excited. And Jill, if you've got the link to your event, please feel free to put it in the chat, and then we'll send it out with this interview as well. Okay, you guys. So what I wanted, it was so perfect. We didn't even plan that Jill was going to be on and launching her book the same day as we're talking about what does it take. And Jill really led us into this conversation about what does it take when you do get the calling on your heart and on your soul. How many of you put call in the comments or the chat, if you're here on Zoom, if you know that what you're going to be writing about, speaking about, sharing with the world, or that you already are, is a calling. It's not just random. It's not a bucket list. It's not like just for a hobby. It's not just for the heck of it. It's not just you want to be like, I wrote a book. You are saying yes. You're answering a call. You're answering a call of your soul, a call, if you call that God, if you call it the universe, you call it life, your higher self, you're answering a call. So it looks like the majority of everyone who's here in Zoom, and we'll read the comments, those of you on social listening. And so we're not doing this by accident. We're not doing it just because. And the thing is that we can get the call, but are we going to do what Jill modeled and continue to step in, to do whatever it takes to fulfill that calling? I always think of it as like leaving it all on the field. You know, there's phrases in our culture like we don't want to, die with our music still in us. I feel like that's sort of a depressing way to think about it. I like thinking about it that I want to know that I came here and do what Elizabeth Gilbert says in Big Magic, that I brought forth every treasure inside of me that was trying to come out, that I gave that gift to the world. And, it takes, Ray mentioned earlier, self-esteem. It takes actually our worth, knowing our worth, to even have the audacity to do that. Because particularly, studies show, this is not a generalization, typically women in particular second guess the call. We say, what, who, me? We start kind of looking around the room. We say, oh, I'm here to write a book. I'm here to get on a stage. I'm here to make a difference. Yeah, some of us, like Ray said, have multiple callings. Yeah, we say, I'm not a writer. Who am I to write a book, Audrey? Exactly. Oh, I'm not a professional speaker. My third grade teacher said I wasn't any good at speaking, or, my AP English teacher said I was a crappy writer, or whatever. Right? What do I know, Jade? Exactly. These are the illusions. These are the false ideas, and they are lies. And they are, unfortunately, very insidious, because they will hold us back. They will make the difference. So we've got to see resistance, the inner critic, the saboteur, the part of us that says, not safe, not safe, not safe. I got to go hide. I don't want to write a book. That's going to bring up a whole bunch of discomfort. The amygdala in the brain is like, no, right? But we get to see those lies just we can love them. We don't have to make them wrong and suppress them. We just say, I know you're trying to protect me, but I was made for this. I was born for this. The resources, the skills, the talent, anything I need, I either have within me or I will attract to me to wake up my innate goodness. This is what we're dealing with here when we say yes to a vision. What's it going to take? Because it's really fun. We're getting towards the end of the year. We're going to be doing our big visioning and strategy session on November 29th. It's so fun to put things on a vision board, and like I'm going to go for it. I'm becoming a best-selling author. I'm going to speak at TEDx. I'm going to make $1 million. And then you go on that journey for real, commit fully. The really fun part is that providence moves too, right? Like Jill, you'll be sent. Jill and I didn't even know each other, and someone was like, Jill, I know this person that helps people write books. Get together, right? We get sent the people, places, and things we need. And there's going to be parts of us that are going to freak out. It is definitely like going on that roller coaster. You pull down the bar, and then it starts inching you up, and you start kind of seeing how high it's going. You're like, I don't want to be on this ride. Once you go down that first hill, you're like, woo. But it's not a joke. Okay. And I've never been more reminded of that than in this last few months, when I felt this real calling about the new body of work I'm developing, 10xing your life for women. We have a lot of wonderful books that I love that are written by men about 10x. And I love those, and I think we all get to read them and benefit from them. And I'm developing a body of work around what does that kind of quantum leap look like for those of us that maybe it's not accessible to use those particular models that have already been offered, right? How do we blend the masculine and the feminine together? And so let me tell you, 10x saying, I'm going to 10x my own life. It has been fascinating, wild, uncomfortable, at moments kind of terrifying. And so I know those of you that have been on, transformational journeys within yourself, many of you, Cheryl, you had a near-death experience. I mean, you're living it, right? And it's no joke. And so we get to make sure that we have support, that we have people in our lives who can cheer us on, that can see the the woods for the trees, when we sort of feel like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? When the imposter syndrome really rises up, that's an affirmation. It's an affirmation when, suddenly this relationship is going to shift because you're going to a new level, or this habit way of being that you had falls away because it doesn't fit with the new identity, or your people you're working with shifts and changes in a certain way, or whatever your old stuff you haven't dealt with comes on up to deal with. Okay, that all sounds fine on paper, but in the moment it can be really uncomfortable. It can be really like, am I doing the right thing? Am I going to be okay? So I want us to be in a conversation about the identity jump, because like Ray said, the message happens first, then the money. The identity, Jill said, yes, I will be the one to bring this message to the world and bring this particular healing, right? You each have said yes to that calling, and you're bringing your healing and transformation to the world in a special way. And we don't want to feel, back to Jill's thing about feeling we can't talk about things, we don't want to feel alone or stay alone when certain things get really wonky for a minute, right? We don't want to feel like something's wrong or it's bad. And I had 3 relationship changes in the last 6 weeks. 3 like professional and personal things where there's a massive resetting or even completing of, whether they're professional or friendship. And that I feel is scary sometimes. Has anyone else had either a friend breakup or a mentorship change or a team change or something like that, where when you started stepping in to your next level of contribution and leadership, certain other things got shaken up? Now, sometimes there's just a process of reconfiguring, reforming, and then other times things complete. And I used to really reel from this stuff. And I really inside myself feel like, what if it's all okay? What if it's really like there's a beautiful timing, the kind of reason, season, lifetime that people might be in our lives. So Kelly, you can feel maybe, that one is coming. I've had relationships transform and come through, and those relationships are even better than ever. And then I've had times when there's a completion of a particular friendship. And it's like, I just want us to be, I want to name it here so that just like Jill's doing with her book, that nobody on this identity thought leader journey has to feel alone or even pathologize it and make it wrong. What if it's an affirmation? You're evolving, everyone's evolving. Sometimes we're evolving together. Sometimes we get to do our own thing. And it's not just in relationships too, right? It can be, I did did anyone celebrate anything around the full moon this weekend? So it was a hunter's moon, if you're interested in, the moon and cycles and things. And it was called, I got interested because it was being written about as a 10x moon, that there was going to be so much like releasing before this new moon and then birthing of what's next, that it was like had the power of a 10 times, power of a regular full moon. So because I'm writing about 10x women, then I'm, was interested in that. And I did a whole workshop around it that I was participating in, took myself through and was connecting with some friends. And I had all this energy in my, I felt all this energy in my throat. And then for the next 48 hours, I'm just coming out of it now. My throat was in excruciating pain, physical pain. So I'm talking this stuff, these identity shifts can manifest in our body. They can manifest in relationships. They can manifest in all kinds of ways. And so I want this to be something that is known. So you go, oh, a friend of mine calls it ascension symptoms. Oh, I'm ascending, going to my next level. And this thing is coming up so that I have alignment, so that I'm completely aligned energetically in all my relationships in my body. I knew, my husband's like, oh, do you think you should take a COVID test? I was like, I'm happy to take a COVID test, but this is not COVID. I know exactly what this is. It's a healing reaction, and it's for me, right? Jill was talking about it for me. And I did take the test just because I, want to make sure and everything. Got kids running around my house and whatever. And sure enough, it was not anything. It's not the flu. It's not COVID. It was a healing reaction. And so your throat was sore as well. Yes, Lisa, this is so powerful. It was a calling to use our voice. This shift that's just, it was a bigger platform of using our voice. And what's really interesting is that there was one more conversation for me to have in this process of aligning that's been going on at this next level that I'm doing. And as soon as I had the conversation, guess what? Pain gone, right? It's still clearing. Like I feel a little bit of that going on, still clearing. Oh my gosh, Debbie, this is so cool. Okay. So a lot of us are we're all connected energetically. Anybody else have a throat thing in the last few days? I'm interested in that actually, now that Lisa and I did. So if you did, you can put that in the chat. But the point is, my journey might look different than someone's. Oh, and look, Kelly, Taurus rules the throat, and it was a full moon in Taurus. See, these things are connected. Look at that. It's not random. I have not had pain like that. Like I couldn't swallow. It hurt to talk. So interesting. And I knew I wasn't sick in the conventional sense of sick. It was the shift that's going on. So what if we, instead of fearing, resisting, or pathologizing change, got excited about it? That's what I'm offering to you in the lounge this week. What if we got freaking excited, like in the mirror, like high tenning ourselves in the mirror, like, whoa, yes, I am on, the rocket is launching. The rocket is launching. What if we could be that loving with ourselves and not have that much faith in our vision? How much faith we could have in our vision. Looking back, it's easy to see. We were taken care of. We were guided. The right person showed up. But in the moment, when it's been a little bit and we're like, tick, 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 I don't see my help come in. I'm not sure. Where is my sign? Where is the resources? Where is the teacher? Where's the money? When we don't have that in that now moment, could we trust our calling that much? Could we trust that we are sourced and supported, that we are worthy, that we are capable, that we are going to get what we need? Yes. Yes. Feeling the feelings and being excited. You know, I had a accountability partner that I'm still, she's a business bestie for sure. And we talk all the time, but we were particularly in a program one point in a mastermind doing accountability together. And we would always share things like, oh, this is so exciting today. I booked a speaking engagement, or I got to meet a new client, or, you know, we would share these exciting, wonderful things about the work we love to do. And we said, what if we started to share the challenges with that much excitement? Because we trusted so deeply that the obstacle is the way. Whatever's happening in my throat and Lisa's throat and anyone else's throat this weekend is actually an up level to us bringing our voice into the world, our message into the world. What if those, in my case, a couple of these relationships that got to get, you know, figured out or realigned or completed or whatever, what if, like I celebrated that as much as, you know, booking TEDx or whatever, right? And that is how we rewire our brain to understand that we're always winning. Right? We're winning and learning. There's no failure. It doesn't even really exist. We can try something that didn't work the way we wanted, but I bet we learned something. I bet that it was a stepping stone to the next big thing. Right? And so the obstacle is the way. So what if, so we made a deal with ourselves. We said, let's do it for 1 week because we were not excited. We're like, this sounds not fun. And we shared our wins, our victories, our gratitudes were for the obstacles that we perceived were these challenges. And then we made a commitment to tell each other and share when we got the aha of how it really was such a gift, right? Because sometimes that doesn't come right away. Sometimes you can see it. So I want us to play with that this week. If we're going to play we're going to go full out. You're going to write your best-selling book. You're going to talk on the stages. You're going to go out and change lives, go on podcasts and continue to, those of you that are already doing it on bigger platforms, then we deserve to let the journey not be scary, to not do it alone, like Jill's saying, and to see the gift, in like my throat this weekend. Yeah, I wasn't super excited to like feel like that, but you know what? I just leaned into it. I was like, I get to just let this, I surrender to this healing experience. Yeah. And a relief cry. Yes. I love that. Cheryl's just talking about, you know, does it make sense when you have a relief cry of just gratitude when a big change comes up that precedes the celebration. Yes. Yes, all of it. We want to feel it all. I'm not talking about spiritual bypass here where we just go, oh, love it, this thing just happened. It's like, feel it all, feel all the feelings. I went through grief before I celebrated these relationship changes. I grieved, I cried, I grieved, I acknowledged what felt like a loss, but I knew in my soul that I was just saying yes. I was staying in that surrender and that faith. So that's what we're going to work on this week. I want to know from everybody, what is an obstacle that's you've been viewing as an obstacle. If you feel comfortable sharing it in the chat or comments, great. Otherwise, think of it in your heart and offer it up this week and say, I command, compel, direct, and instruct this obstacle to reveal its gift to me now. I surrender to this revealing its gift to me now. I surrender to it, revealing its gift to me now. And when we say now, it's not like, trying to control the universe, but just saying like, I'm available now to have this transform, to turn the lead into gold. This is Thought Leader Alchemy. That's what Jill models for us right now with her book coming out this week. That's what you're all doing here. That's what we're going to do together. So if you are working on a book, you're thinking about doing a book, you're like Jill and someone's like, you want to go out and speak and change lives, you got to have a book. Then please make sure you're signed up and registered for the Best-Selling Book Intensive, which is coming up on November 6th, next week, a week from today. We're going to be together. It is free. We'll put the link in the chat and in the comments on social. Please join us. Let me train you in the process that has helped me. I just had my 5th book come out this month. We have helped thousands of incredible, important people like you get their books out in the world, go out and be best-selling authors and speakers and do things. So the bootcamp link is there. If you're in the middle of a book, you don't even know what your book would be about, this experience, I'm going to train you 5 days straight. I'm going to give you what you need to make this happen, to be able to change lives the way Jill is doing. Okay. So sign up for the boot camp. And then those of you that are in the Abundance Accelerator will be together today at 2:00 Eastern. I have absolutely fire new content to share there. If you're not in the Abundance Accelerator yet and you want to be, we'll put the link for that too. Okay. So 2 ways to support you. If it's about abundance, resources, bringing in what you need to get this done, then join the Abundance Accelerator and then make sure everybody is on the boot camp. The Best-Selling Book Bootcamp, it's the first and only, we are the first and only coaching program for thought leaders that is quantum energy based, that's brain science based, so that you get to show up as the leader you're here to be, and that your book is transformational, not inspirational, that your talks are transformational, not just inspirational. So that's what we're up to later today. We can keep the party going in just a couple hours, like 1 more hour, a little bit at the Abundance Accelerator. And then we will be together for the boot camp all next week, November 6th through the 10th. Please do avail yourself of this work so that we can do it together. The lounge is to get us up-vibed, inspired, empowered, clear, to have an epic week. And then we have these deeper trainings where we can go through and actually do the work. Okay. So that's what's coming up. Let's leave on what is something you're going to create by Friday this week that would never have been created if you weren't here on the lounge today. Let's just finish with that. I want to rally. I want to feel this. I want to feel this like energy of what we're going to get out there and do. Jill's launching her book. So we already know Jill's. That's freaking amazing, and hosting her live event. And Cheryl, you manifested your goal from the last Abundance Accelerator. You sold your Michigan house. Woo! That is freaking awesome. That is so happy and joyful. I'm overjoyed to hear it. So everybody claim something right now. If you're on social, subscribe to this channel so you get all the episodes. If you're here in the Zoom room, in the chat, what are you going to do between now and Friday that you would never have done if you didn't come in here and realize the obstacle is the way? The thing you think is kicking your butt is actually the way, the gateway, the portal to you achieving your biggest goal yet. All right, let's put these in the chat. I'm going to think of mine right now with you. I love it. Debbie's going to outline her book structure, the SSS. I love it. You're getting with your book coach, Charlotte, and finishing your book by the end of the year. Heck yeah, you are. Sarah Cassidy. Oh my gosh, you guys, I got to read part of Sarah Cassidy's book. It's amazing. She's going to keep going and have that manuscript done. Courtney, honoring your body to rest, which you usually push through. Beautiful. Yes. That was part of my throat this weekend. I was just quiet, introspective, went within. These are beautiful. Anybody else? Put yours in. I'll read it out. Getting your body moving, Jade. Yes. Yes. Moving the energy. That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. And I will be preparing our best-selling book boot camp that we've ever done. We have some amazing new practices, new content. It's going to be awesome. And I will make sure that I bring everything I've got to that training for you all next week. All right. So much love, everybody. Have a great, great, great week. I love it. Lisa's going to time block to work on her books and articles and get back into yoga. Yes. Yes. Cheryl, yes, you listened to yourself and skipped a conference because you knew you didn't have the stamina to push through. We don't push. It's going to be part of 10X Women. It's not hustle. It's not push. Ashley's going to work on her website. Cedra, it's so good to be with you. I've been thinking of you so much since I saw you in Chicago. Yes. Vered submitted to New York Times op-ed. Woo! Yes. Way to go big. I love that. Yes. Oh, good, Cedra. So that means I'll see you next week. Fantastic, everybody. Love you all so much. I will see you next Monday or in an hour at the Abundance Accelerator. See you then, everybody. Bye.